Welcome, everyone, to the Blind Judgment Podcast. I'm your host, Hugh, and I'm joined by my co-host, Jay.
Your blind co-host, Jay.
That's right. You are going in blind.
Welcome, everyone.
Welcome. So we cover bizarre cases, and we start each episode with a series of photos that Jay will use to kind of piece together what he thinks that this case is going to be about. So I've sent you the photos. Do you want to maybe have a look at them? Let me know what you think.
Yep, pulling up my phone right now.
Okay.
All right, so I'll describe the photos first, and then I'll put my theory together. So the first picture is a poker table, like at a casino. The second picture is a movie set of some sort. The third picture is Little White Chapel in Vegas, the outside of it. The fourth picture is a standard luggage that you would see in an airport. And then the final picture is a speedboat in the water. Okay, so I feel like we're dealing with rich people again, because we have a boat, and that makes me, and we have like a movie set, so we're dealing with maybe somebody who's famous. And I'm thinking something crazy happened in Vegas, and maybe they got on a boat. The suitcase is definitely throwing me off. Maybe somebody traveled to Vegas. They were a movie star. They were in a boat accident or something. I'm going to say the accident happened on a boat, whatever that accident is. That's my theory.
All right. Is that your final answer?
That is my final answer.
All right. Well, let's get into the case.
Okay.
And let's go from there. So this week we're going to be covering Ryan Alexander Jenkins. Have you heard that name before?
I've not heard that name.
Okay. Well, Ryan was born on February 8th of 1977 in Calgary, Canada, to a prominent architect and real estate investor named Dan Jenkins.
Okay.
We actually grew up in Victoria, Canada. I'm actually going to show you a photo of the map of where Victoria, Canada is in relation to the United States. That's going to be important later, but I'll just show it to you from the top. Hang on. All right. So here is Victoria, Canada, and this is the Olympic National Park. So this is Washington State right here. Not very far from Port Angeles.
Very close.
Very close.
A boat ride away.
A quick boat ride away.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is where Ryan grew up. And he lived there with his dad, his stepmom, and his younger sister. Because of his dad's money and status, he's kind of like a Nepo baby, all right? So he's got this career in investment banking. He runs a small property development company, and they focus like on eco-friendly construction. This is very clearly funded by his dad. But he's a businessman. He's also kind of like a party boy, frat bro type. Okay, so let me show you a couple photos of Ryan now. You can kind of see what I mean. So here he is. What do you think of these pictures?
I'm jealous. I wish I was this guy.
Yeah.
All these pictures look like they'd be on a dating profile.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's a good-looking guy. You know, he's probably thinks he's got it.
He's got it going on. Yeah, he's pulling himself for sure. This is definitely this is like 2008, 2009. So this is like maybe MySpace era.
He kind of looks like the lead singer of like a band like Papa Roach or something. Right?
Okay. All right. No, I'm going to have to disagree with you there. I wouldn't say he looks like that.
Okay. Who's like that?
He's a little bit more like a frat boy.
You don't like Papa Roach or what?
I have nothing against Papa Roach. I'm just saying, I don't think that he looks like what's his name? Jacoby Shaddix or something like that.
I was trying to remember. I don't know, but that sounds right.
You know, he did have a show on MTV.
The Papa Roach guy?
Yeah, I think he like hosted an MTV show.
Oh.
Anyways, that's not important. So yeah, so that's Ryan. A lot of his friends would describe him as very stylish. He's very materialistic. He has everything. He has everything you can imagine. They tell this story of one time he rented 4 limos just cuz.
What do you mean, just cuz?
Just they were just going out one night and he rented 4 limousines.
Yeah,
for
that's like all his friends.
Yeah. So
Sick.
he's that guy. So yeah, he lives a very fast-paced lifestyle.
So far, he's my role model.
That's concerning. So some of them say that he is like a ladies' man. All right. He's always got all kinds of girls around him. I know it's a little gross thing to say, but he's always got ladies around him. However, the women that he interacted with, they would say he was very pushy, very persistent, like pretty creepy. And he would throw like an absolute fit if he was rejected, like a straight up toddler tantrum.
Right.
So yeah, I feel like he's kind of like that stereotypical spoiled rich kid.
Right.
You know?
Okay, maybe he's not my role model.
Yeah, I don't think he's your role model. Moving on, in 2009, Ryan, he really wants to lean into that Hollywood lifestyle, okay? And during this time, the whole celebrity movement is really like having its moment, okay? It's super in style right now. You've got like the Surreal Life with Paris and Nicole. Like the Kardashians are becoming a thing, the Real Housewives. So it's people who are getting like notoriety and fame for having a television show documenting their daily lives, okay? And he really wants to cash in on that. So in early 2009, he responds to a casting call for the newest reality television show from the production company 51 Minds. They are looking for men who have a net worth of over $1 million to compete for the love of the ultimate trophy wife, Megan Hauserman.
Holler.
So now Megan was actually featured on the 2nd season of another 51 Minds production called Rock of Love with Bret Michaels.
Oh my God. Now I know why we're talking about this case.
Yes.
You love Rock of Love.
I am a Rock of Love fan. I'm actually a fan of the whole franchise. All of those shows. Big fan of them. But for those of you who haven't watched it, it is like The Bachelor, like a Bachelor-esque dating show where the contestants compete for the love of Bret Michaels, who is the like bandana-clad frontman of Poison.
That's my real role model.
So that,
actually.
I feel like that, yes. Yeah. So this is going to be Megan's spinoff of the show. So instead of Bret Michaels, they're going to be going after Miss Megan. So Ryan is eventually cast on the show. I'm going to show you some pictures from the production. So here's a photo of Ryan. And this is the entire cast from the show. Megan's in the center, and Ryan is the one here off to the side wearing the purple dress shirt.
Yeah, I remember Megan looks familiar.
Yeah.
Definitely remember her from the show, Rock of Love.
She was a fan favorite.
But yeah, he definitely looks different from the pictures you showed me initially.
Yeah, he's got some facial hair.
Yeah.
He's got like here, I'll show you a couple more pictures. He's got like a goatee. He's got a soul patch. Here he is.
Oh, and these are shots from the actual show.
So these are shots from the actual show. Yeah, so there he is there. There he is talking to Megan. This is like his cast photo. They had like nicknames on the show, and his was Smooth Operator.
Smooth. Like, is that the text that would show up on the bottom of the screen whenever he'd show up?
Yeah.
He looks really into her, but maybe...
He does. He does look really into her.
Maybe he's a good actor. But yeah, no, he looks super into her. He's staring deep into her eyes.
He really is. And I mean, to be honest with you, it kind of works. Like she does get a connection with him, which is pretty surprising because so the executive producer Chris Abrego, he's like, we should actually give this guy the villain edit, okay? Because he's like not connecting with any of the other cast members of the show. He's like super full of himself. He's just kind of like slimy. If you watch any reality television, you know there's always that one character that's like, the edit goes really poorly for them. And there's even a scene in the show where Megan says to him, she's like, oh, you're super manipulative. Like, he is the villain of Megan Wants a Millionaire. That's the name of the show. But nonetheless, she really develops this connection with him, and he makes it to the final 3.
Oh.
Yeah. She tells the production that she ultimately wants to pick him to win, but they tell her no because, again, he's the bad guy, and that's not going to go over well with the audience if they don't like him. So they tell her no. She sends him home. But before he leaves, production invites him to participate in the 3rd season of another show that's within their celebrity dating show cinematic universe. It's called I Love Money, and it's where all of the contestants from the other various of love shows come to compete for money, kind of like The Challenge, if you remember that show. And he agrees to do it. And then he leaves. He travels to Las Vegas to go drown his sorrows. But even still, Megan is still pretty into him. And she asks production for Ryan's phone number because she wants to reconnect with him outside of the show. So a few weeks after filming wraps, she calls Ryan and she asks him if he, wants to hang out. Tries talking to him. And he's like, it's so funny that you called because right after I finished the show, I went to Las Vegas. I met my soulmate and we got married. So Megan tells him that she's happy for him. And that's really as far as the conversation goes.
Shotgun wedding.
Yeah, pretty quick. And she did think it was pretty strange how quickly he moved on. But it was clear he wanted like a trophy wife. So
Megan wasn't it.
But it's like he got one.
Well,
right?
Good thing Megan found the love of her life in the show. What happened to the guy that won the show? Well, I guess
it didn't work out.
I think that's the bomb, the biggest bomb you've dropped so far. Is that reality TV is scripted?
Yeah, it's scripted. Can you believe?
We got to talk about that later. That's another episode, but
that's a whole other podcast. Anyways, what do you think of the story so far?
I mean, I think it's a pretty good setup. I think now I'm thinking about Megan being a little jealous of this new, like, how crazy is Megan? That's kind of that's where my head's at right now. Maybe you're making me, you want me to believe Ryan is a bad guy, but really, Megan the millionaire, I don't know about her. That's where I'm at.
I guess you're just going to have to find out. So I'm going to introduce you to Miss Jasmine Fiore, and she is the woman that Ryan married. Actually going to start off by showing you some photos of her. Okay. And here she is.
Yeah. Trophy wife. She looks like a Barbie doll.
She's so pretty. She looks like Jessica Rabbit, like from Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. This is her from her senior year of high school.
Wait, was she the same age as Ryan? She looks pretty young.
She's a little bit younger. She's about 4 years younger than Ryan.
Okay.
Because at this time, he's like 32. So I guess she's like 28.
Okay.
So, but this is her here. So Jasmine was born in 1981. She was raised by a single mom in the San Francisco area. And as a child, she was a tomboy. She was super passionate about horses. She rode horses all the time. She played football. She loved being outdoors. She was just like a true outdoorsy tomboy type of girl. She's also a super magnetic person. Like, people are really drawn to her. She's got this aura. She is like really well liked. So when she becomes an adult, she decides to move to Las Vegas, where she would perform in shows. She worked as a model. She modeled like swimsuits, lingerie. She did like the body paint modeling as well. Yeah, she also acts in like a couple commercials. So she is like super hardworking. She's doing it all. And like on top of that, she's studying to get her real estate license. She's like, maybe she wants to be a personal trainer. She's so ambitious. She is. She has so much going for her.
Nice.
Absolutely. So on March 16th of 2009, and this is just days after filming the show, Ryan meets Jasmine at a party at the Hawaiian Tropic, and they immediately hit it off. Ryan is smitten. So much so that 2 days later, on March 18th, the pair are married at the Little White Wedding Chapel.
Dang.
Yes, I'm going to show you a few photos of.
Apparently he wasn't too distraught about not having a thing with Megan.
Yeah. Quick to move on. So here they are at their wedding.
Again, he looks different than the pictures of him in the show with Megan.
Absolutely. And this was just days after he just shaved off that facial hair. It became a different person.
Yeah. No, they look happy. They look good. Young, good-looking couple.
Young, beautiful couple. Okay. This comes as a pretty big shock to their friends and family because they met and 2 days later they got married. And they were relatively like kept in the dark about Ryan and Jasmine's relationship. Jasmine ends up going home, after a few weeks. And she says to her mom at that point that she's already broken it off with Ryan because he's too controlling and he is really jealous.
Wait, you mean the family was kept in the dark about their relationship in Vegas or just their relationship in general?
It was pretty much like, I met this girl and we're married, or I met this guy, now we're married. And they were like, we didn't even know you met this guy. Okay. So they were kept in the dark. Like they didn't learn about each other until they got married.
Okay, got it.
So yeah, she says she broke it off with him. However, they kind of are on this like on again, off again relationship where they constantly break up and get back together. It's just kind of like a cycle. But they do travel together. Like he takes her back home to Canada. So they do like all of the typical like couple things, In May, Ryan goes to Mexico to film I Love Money 3. And during filming, Ryan is constantly contacting Jasmine. And he's asking her, he's like, where are you? Who are you with? What are you doing? Like he's being really intense. The production takes note of this and they decide to add it in as part of the show, as part of the edit. Like, oh, like look at this.
It's crazy.
Super crazy.
Yeah, losing his mind.
Yeah, he's in his mind. Because again, also in this show too, he's like really reclusive, not forming a connection with anyone. So they're just,
Yeah, maybe this is why he's acting this way.
Exactly.
Right.
He does, however, go on to win the show in the $250,000.
This guy is good at love.
He's good. Jeez. He's good at reality television. He's good at playing games.
Wow. Okay.
After filming, Ryan returns to Las Vegas to be with Jasmine, and things are just not good. Okay. He was communicating with and like hanging out with some guys while Ryan was gone, and obviously caused some issue. In June of 2009, there's an incident where he becomes physically violent towards Jasmine, and he is charged with battery constituting domestic violence.
Uh-oh.
Yes. So his trial is scheduled for December that year. Regardless, they try to make it work. They end up moving to Los Angeles so that way they can receive better career opportunities, because now Ryan is trying to get into reality television. She's a model, so they move there. It just seems like the best choice. So they moved to Los Angeles. On August 2nd of 2009, the show Megan Wants a Millionaire premieres on VH1. And now Ryan's fame as a celeb reality star has been set into motion.
Here we go.
Before we move on, Where are your thoughts right now?
Well, I definitely am now not thinking Megan is the bad guy, and Ryan is definitely sus.
He's very sus.
He's already. Yeah. It's crazy that they decided to move to another city after
they're having so many issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at. I'm now thinking, yeah, Ryan's no bueno.
Let's find out. So, on August 13th, the couple decides to head to Del Mar, California, which is in like the San Diego area, in Jasmine's white Mercedes C-Class for a poker tournament at the Del Mar Hilton. They check into the La Berger Hotel and they begin the evening's festivities. Okay, they head out. At some point during the evening, while they're at the tournament, they start to fight because Jasmine is on her phone. And they are really getting into it. Super awkward, making their friends uncomfortable. Apparently, Jasmine is texting one of her friends from back in Las Vegas, and she's saying to him, like, I want to leave. I want to be with you. And it's pissing Ryan off. It's making Ryan pretty angry. And all the while, Jasmine is additionally making some witty jabs at him, and Ryan cannot keep up, and that's making him upset as well. So pretty contentious. They continue to party, though, and at some point, Ryan and Jasmine leave together. According to the La Berger camera footage, Ryan returns to the hotel by himself at 4:30 a.m. Then at 6:30 a.m., the cameras show him leaving the room alone. He puts the hotel room phone on a shelf in the hallway and gets some ice. And then at 9 a.m., he checks out alone.
Okay, so there's no footage of him or her leaving the hotel?
Of her leaving the hotel, of her arriving home from their night out to the hotel.
Oh, okay.
Or arriving back from the hotel.
Interesting.
But he's been coming back by himself.
And what did he do with the phone?
So he obviously took it out of the room and he just like put it on a shelf that was in the hallway of the hotel.
Interesting.
Very interesting. Why was he taking the phone from the hotel room? Very strange. So Ryan returns to LA, and in the evening, he sends a series of messages to Jasmine's friends and her mom. He's trying to locate her. He claims that she dropped him off and then she left to like go run some errands and then never returned. So he's asking them, he's like, have you seen her? Have you heard from her? She never came home. Okay. So he ultimately reports her missing on the evening of the 15th. And when the detective asks him for any identifying characteristics that Jasmine might have, he just kind of stares at them and then responds, she has really nice teeth.
What?
So the next day, the 16th now, Ryan leaves their home to travel to Las Vegas to go retrieve his speedboat.
Okay.
However, going back to the 15th, a man in Buena Park, California, is collecting bottles in an alley and discovers a suspicious suitcase. Inside the suitcase, the badly beaten, crumpled body of a small woman in her 20s.
Oh my God.
So the body cannot be immediately identified because the fingers have been cut off at like the first knuckle.
Whoa.
Okay, so removing the fingerprints, and all of their teeth have been either forcibly removed, like pulled out, or knocked out with force.
Jeez.
So the body, the woman had breast implants. Okay, so they ended up using the serial number on the breast implants to identify, and they identified the body as Jasmine Fiore.
Wait, was the body like chopped up?
No, just beat and shoved into this suitcase.
Okay.
So when they identify her, later they find that her vehicle has been abandoned in this parking lot in West Hollywood. And it showed evidence of a very violent assault. There are pools of blood, there's splatter all over in various locations within the cabin of the car, and many locks of Jasmine's hair. Like, her hair was ripped out. I have some photos of the outside of Jasmine's car, as well as a photo of the alley where the suitcase was found.
All right.
So here's that.
Okay, yeah. I mean, picture of the car that's in the parking lot.
Yeah.
As they found it.
Found.
Wow. What are some of the other pictures?
These are just some other photos of the car itself. And then there's a picture of Jasmine and then the picture of Ryan there. So you're just describing the case. So once Jasmine is identified, Ryan is immediately suspicious. They do a little bit of investigation and they discover that back in 2005 in Canada, Ryan was arrested for breaking into his girlfriend's home and strangling her. And he was sentenced to 15 months probation and was ordered to attend counseling for domestic violence and sex addiction.
Whoa. Yeah, he's a bad dude.
Yeah, he's a bad dude.
And VH1 just let him on the show and was like, here's his woman's heart. Go after it. Jeez. All right. Good job, VH1.
Yeah. So at this point, he's just a person of interest. There isn't like a warrant out for his arrest, but they tell the Canadian border authorities and the U.S. Coast Guard to kind of look out for him because remember, he got his speedboat.
Right.
And he's from
Canada.
Victoria, Canada. And he's headed in that direction. So they just, in the event he tries to flee the country, they want to be aware. And ultimately, that is what ends up happening. So on the 19th, they reported seeing a man fitting his description, driving his boat into the Victoria, British Columbia Marina from Point Roberts, Washington. So if you remember that photo of the map I showed you earlier, he just cut right across. And I have a couple photos of his boat for you once they seized it, just so you can get an idea of what his boat looked like. All right. So Ryan is formally charged with Jasmine's murder on the 20th. And that evening, he is seen at the Thunderbird Motel in Hope, British Columbia, accompanied by a young blonde woman who ultimately, it's revealed, is his younger sister. So the woman goes into the hotel office. She pays for a 3-night stay. They check into the room. And the person in the room next to them actually says that the blonde woman only stayed for like maybe 20, 30 minutes and then left. And then they just didn't see her again after that.
Creepy.
Weird thing to make note of. But on August 23rd, they fail to check out. So it's natural, like it's protocol. It's what they have to do. The hotel manager goes over to check on the room. And when they enter, they find Ryan hanging in the coat closet by a belt, dead of an apparent suicide.
What? You said they found days. How long did he get that hotel for? With his sister?
They got the hotel for 3 days, and he had his computer with him, and it had a Word document that was created on the 23rd that said last will and testament, but it didn't have any content to it. It just said last will and testament. And then he was found deceased. So that would lead you to believe that he probably killed himself on the 23rd when they found him.
Dang.
He took the coward way out.
That's crazy. I wonder what he talked to his sister about.
Yeah, like, well, what came up? And it's crazy because, like, she was never charged with anything because he is a fugitive at this point.
Oh, like helping him flee?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That never came up as like...
No, never.
Interesting.
But yeah.
Wait, how did they know it was her sister or his sister?
Just more investigation. Like, once they were able to get, like, surveillance, all of this, they could identify that it was...
That's so weird. But anyways.
Pretty wild. So at this time, all this is going on. Ryan is on a TV show that is being broadcasted throughout the nation. Like, he is wanted for murder. He's on the run, and he's on a TV show.
I forgot about that part.
Yeah. So at this point, 3 episodes of the show have been aired. And essentially what happens is VH1 pulls the plug on the show. It's no longer on the air, and it's actually completely removed from their library, completely expunged. And like you cannot find, you can find some clips of it on YouTube, maybe like an episode or 2 that aired, but they've completely cut it. And they also do that with the other show that he was on. It's called I Love Money 3. And he won that show. They never air it. They just completely scratched all of the footage of this show.
Wow.
Yeah. So now 51 Minds, the production company, they are in the hot seat, just like you mentioned before. So they were supposed to do like a thorough background check when they allow contestants onto their show. So they did run a background check for Ryan in the United States, but they didn't do one in Canada. And that's where this case was. So had they done that, they would have discovered his, history of domestic violence only a few years prior, and he would not have been on the show. So as a result, 51 Minds is dropped from VH1, and they never make another one of those shows again.
They're done.
They are done. Yeah.
That's sad. That's the real victim of the stop skin.
It is not the real victim. Do not say that. But yeah, like when we watched it and I told you about it, you were like, man, why don't they make these anymore?
This is why Ryan ruined it for everyone. Thanks, Ryan.
So what do you think? Now that you've heard everything, what are your thoughts?
It's just very sad. Like, this girl, I feel like, just got caught up.
It's very sad. I feel like she had so much potential, and
it's just not how you would imagine a wedding. Like, you meet somebody and you're like, oh my God, this is the person, let's get married. It sounds like a fairy tale, and then for it to end this way is
so brutally. It's very sad. Very, very sad. How do you feel like this relates to the story that you put together in the beginning?
I mean, I was pretty close. It was a rich person. The crime didn't happen on a boat, I guess, but it was part of I mean, I don't know. I guess I was pretty far off, I guess.
No, I mean, I think I made this one very difficult for you.
I definitely didn't think a body was going to be shoved into a small, and I don't know if that picture you sent me of the luggage is representative of what they actually found, but it was not that big. That's why I was like, how do you fit a body in there?
Yeah. Well, it was like a checked luggage bag.
Still.
Yeah.
That is insane.
Very crazy.
I can't imagine people doing those acts. Like, at what point do you not just back out? Like, I messed up here. Like, what am I doing? I'm shoving a body into a bag?
It's almost like, because when we watch those shows, there's like those challenges, and it's almost like this was like a challenge, and he had to complete the challenge to get away with it.
He just blacks out or something. I don't know. That's just insane. But
it's terrifying, especially like you married this woman.
Right.
So sad.
What if he did it all just to get back at Megan? Or I don't know. Was he mad at Megan?
I don't think he was mad at Megan. I think he was just like, see ya, I'm going to get another trophy wife. That's not you.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, did he just go out and rebound as quickly as possible to like...
Oh, for sure. 100%. I think it was whenever he got rejected by Megan, I think it was probably like a massive blow to his ego.
Right. That's what I'm saying. And then he just was like, I just need to find somebody and marry them. That'll show her. Yeah.
Show this gal.
That makes sense because he was supposed to marry Megan, right? If they...
No, they don't get married in the end.
How they got...
No.
Yeah. What do you think?
Well, so like you said, I'm a big fan of this, the whole celebrity dating show thing. And I actually watched this happen in real time.
That's crazy.
Back in 2009. Yes, I watched those first 3 episodes of this show. And yeah, I remember it was on, and then a couple days later, I came downstairs. My mom was like making breakfast, and she's like, "Don't you watch this show?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Well,
It's
one of the
canceled.
contestants is wanted for murder." And it was like, "Whoa, what?" So there's a personal connection to this for sure.
And he really was the villain.
He ultimately
He
was.
ultimately was the villain. Good edit.
Yeah, I think it's incredibly sad. And I honestly feel like he's gross. He truly is a villain, and he was a coward.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all we have for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening.
And if you like what you hear, don't forget to subscribe.
Until next time. Bye.